Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to basically explain to you the top 10 most common reasons why breakouts occur. I figure that this could be kind of a good video to film because if you can figure out the source of a problem, you can basically eliminate it. So first off, I want to establish that acne is an immune response. You get the redness, you get the swelling, you get the pain because that is an immune response from your own body's immune system. So basically what can happen is that something can get inside of your pore, or you can have a skin infection, and the pimple itself is your body responding to that invasion or that skin trauma that's occurring. So I think the first thing that all of us are very guilty of doing is not washing our makeup brushes. This is like probably one of the worst things that you can do because I know it's just sometimes when you're doing your makeup and you finish your makeup and you have to get out the door, there's just not enough time to wash your brushes. Totally understand. I've been there. I'm actually really guilty of not washing my brushes as often as I should, but dirty brushes can absolutely make you break out. I'm actually breaking out like right here because I didn't wash my brushes, so oops. But I just quickly wanted to give you a solution. You can buy brush cleansers like this. This is a Sephora daily brush cleanser that I bought, and it's cute and small because I take it traveling with me. This is a really great option because what you do is you just spray it onto the brush and then swipe your brush around on a paper towel or a clean towel, and it basically removes a lot of the pigment and bacteria and dirt. What you can also do is take 99% proof isopropyl alcohol and spritz your brushes down, and that will basically disinfect them. For deep cleaning, I absolutely recommend deep cleaning your brushes at least once a week if you're using your brushes like pretty much every day. If you're not wearing makeup every day and you're not using brushes every day, you can kind of get away with it every 2 or 3 weeks depending on how little you use your makeup brushes. But for that, I definitely recommend using hot water and some sort of cleanser. I use my Purity face cleanser actually because I feel like it's just really good for getting gunk out of brushes, so that's what I do once a week if I'm wearing like a lot of makeup. And that brings me to my second point, which is that your makeup can actually make you break out. So the most common thing I can think of is something like this, where you have a palette of powder products. These right here are face products, and so I imagine that if you're dipping your brush in and you're applying it to your face, this is like laying open or something, this can definitely harbor bacteria. And so what I always do, always, at least once every 2 weeks, I take a very high proof of alcohol, like the 99% isopropyl alcohol I was just talking about, and I will spray all of my compacts down, like the outside of the compact and also the inside of the compact. I'll completely spray them down, saturate them with alcohol, and then leave them out to dry. And as soon as they're dry, I close them up and I put them away. It's very important to use very high proof of alcohol, otherwise you'll have water inside of the alcohol solution, which won't necessarily let the products dry properly. And also water can be really bad for products as far as the texture goes, and also the water itself can make kind of like a mush in your products, which is a great place for bacteria. So you want to definitely use the highest proof of alcohol that you can find at the store, and I just buy mine from the drugstore. You should also replace concealers and foundations routinely, especially doe foot applicators, which are so unsanitary. Doe foot applicators like this are very unsanitary because the tendency is you want to dot it on breakouts to cover them up, but unfortunately when you put it back into the tube, this is like the ideal environment for bacteria to grow, and that's really gross, and actually your concealer can make you break out because of that. So instead, what I recommend doing is, instead of using the doe foot applicator directly onto your face, you can kind of like push the product onto the back of your hand like that to get it onto your hand. And they also sell like glass makeup palettes for that purpose, but I just find that this is much more sanitary because the doe foot applicator is not going directly onto your face, it's going onto your clean hands. I love the Makeup Forever HD concealer because it doesn't have a doe foot applicator. It's actually just a little squeezy tube that I can squeeze wherever I need, and there's no reason for this to be contaminated at all. The third point I want to talk about is kind of a combination of things, but I wrote down pillowcase, phone, and laundry detergent. Now, pillowcase is really important because your face is touching your pillowcase for the entirety of the night. So I always recommend washing your pillowcase at least once a week. You need to get into the habit of doing that because pillowcases are easily the best way for you to break out, because think about it, your hair has a lot of bacteria and grease and oil in it, whether you like it or not. That's just, you know, it's hair. And so when your hair is touching your pillowcase, you can then roll onto your pillowcase, and now your face is touching all the oil and the debris from your hair. Because let's face it, we don't wash our hair every day. And if you do wash your hair every day, maybe don't do that because it's not the best for your hair. All reasons aside, washing your pillowcases is a very easy way to prevent breakouts, and it takes like 2 seconds to throw something in the laundry, so you should definitely do that. The next point is a phone. So basically, your phone can be touching your face a lot, and it's also touching your hair. Your hands are touching it, other surfaces are touching it. You bring your phone into a public bathroom, you put it down. it can get kind of gross. So you should try sanitizing your phone now and then using 99% isopropyl alcohol. Just douse it, let it dry. As long as you're using a very high proof, it won't damage your phone. But you can definitely get breakouts from your phone, especially on your cheeks around like your contour area. I've definitely seen that happen with me personally. And then lastly, laundry detergent. Your laundry detergent can actually break you out if you're using a detergent that doesn't agree with your skin. Like I said earlier in the video, acne can be an immune response, and so in this event, like a detergent is used on your clothes or on your pillowcase or on your sheets, and your skin is just really reacting poorly to some residue on that, and that causes a breakout. So just something to keep in mind. And all of those are bringing me to my fourth point, which is how hair can make you break out. So if you have bangs, you can definitely get breakouts like on your forehead, and then also if you just have hair, you get breakouts along your hairline. That's because of the oil and the dirt in your hair. There's really no good way of preventing it besides keeping your hair clean for the most part, and if your hair is dirty, keeping it pulled back, that can definitely help as well. As far as back acne goes, I've noticed that using a very heavy conditioner can actually cause you to break out on your back, because usually for me, I'll shampoo my hair and then put my conditioner in and then make a bun on the top of my head and then do the rest of my shower things like washing my body and shaving, and then the very last thing I do is rinse out the conditioner. I think that it is best to swap those and rinse out your conditioner first and then wash your body, because the residue from the conditioner can get onto your skin and actually clog your pores and cause breakouts. So that's also something to be aware of. So the fifth point that I wanted to bring up is that sometimes environmental factors can cause acne or acne-like looking things on your face. And what I mean by that is that allergies can cause hives, and hives can sometimes look like acne and they can occur anywhere on your body. And so that can definitely happen. And then also I've noticed personally that I break out on my cheeks whenever my allergies are just out of this world. So that's also something to be aware of. The time of the season can indicate whether or not you're more prone to breakout. So maybe that's something you want to keep track of. My sixth point is stress. Stress most certainly can cause acne, because when I'm stressed, I'm like rubbing my face, I'm rubbing my eyes, I'm touching my face, I'm not eating the best maybe, I'm definitely not sleeping enough, definitely not exercising as much as I normally do, and all of those things just cause your body to go completely out of balance and out of its normal rhythm, and that can definitely cause a breakout. So stress is one of those things where not really preventable anymore, and I'm really mad at the human body for evolving so poorly to handle with stress, because back in the day when we were cavemen, stress was a very necessary response that we needed to have with adrenaline and cortisol, because that is what kept us safe and alive. But nowadays we are exposed to so many stressful things that it's just not productive to be constantly releasing adrenaline and cortisol all the time. Stress cannot be prevented, but I do suggest looking into your self-care routine, taking care of your mind and your body, and also just kind of being realistic about how you respond to stress, because it can go one of two ways. Either you can freak out and you can stress out and you can make yourself feel sick, or you can, just shut up and handle it. That's kind of how I look at things. The seventh point I have is food. Some people have food allergies and they can manifest as breakouts on your face. I personally I'm not allergic to milk protein, but I'm lactose intolerant, and so consuming anything containing lactose and most dairy products makes me break out horribly, along with other really bad symptoms. That's something to be really aware of. Like, maybe try cutting out dairy from your diet, or maybe cut out gluten, and just see how your skin responds. Sometimes your skin is the first indication that something is wrong, like deeper down, such as a food allergy or an intolerance. The eighth point that I have is skin trauma. So something like getting waxed or getting threaded or plucking your eyebrows, stuff like that can definitely cause a breakout, because your skin is being aggravated, and so your immune system is going to respond to that, and it could result in a breakout, especially if the salon that you go to isn't necessarily sanitary, because maybe the lady doing my eyebrows didn't wash her hands first, maybe she was using old thread when she was threading my eyebrows. It's stuff like that. You should definitely take into account like the hygiene of wherever you go to get your waxing or your threading done. Especially with waxing, you need to make sure that they aren't reusing those sticks they use to spread the wax, because that is super unsanitary, because they spread it on your face and then put it back into the pot of wax, and that pot of wax can contain bacteria from all sorts of customers. And if you always break out after you wax, maybe try threading. I personally have found that threading is much more gentle on my skin, because hot wax isn't being put on my skin and then aggressively ripped off. I find threading to be much more gentle, and I feel like I like the shape that my eyebrows have a lot more when I thread. The ninth point that I have is using a very harsh exfoliant on your skin. You know that I hate the St. Ives apricot scrub. I think it is the devil incarnate, because the particles in it are just way too sharp, they're way too hard, harsh and they're way too big to be using on your face, and they can actually cause micro tears in the surface of your skin, which is really, really damaging because that can cause scarring and also a skin infection because you're basically creating little cuts on your skin, and that makes you really susceptible to infection. So that could be also why you're breaking out, is maybe your physical exfoliant is way too harsh. And then the last point that I have is something that's not really a satisfying answer, but hormones. Hormones can definitely do ya. I personally used to get really, really bad acne on my chin because I just had a crazy hormonal imbalance. But I talked to a doctor and I got on some medication, and so now it's all resolved. But definitely, if you think hormones are too suspect, you should definitely bring that up to your doctor, because that's definitely like an option to be explored if you suffer with really, really bad acne. Hormones could absolutely be to blame for that. So those are basically 10 reasons why I think people break out. Those are like the most common 10 things in my opinion. Let me know why you break out in the comments down below. I basically kind of walked you through all the reasons why I break out. So maybe I didn't mention something and maybe it's something more common than I think it is. So let me know. If you want to see more informational skincare videos, please give this video a thumbs up. The thumbs up is always like a really good gauge to see how my audience is responding to the content that I'm creating. So I'm always looking at the number of thumbs up and views that I have, because that tells me whether or not you're liking my content. So thank you so much for participating, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.